Who was at Trump's crypto dinner? How much has the US military spent on recruitment? And will Trump's bombshell announcement on the Iran nuclear deal avoid creating an actual bomb? That and more on this week's headlines. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Matt Ganejda, filling in today for Chris Chappell, who's out proving to mathematicians you can divide by zero. If you're not a coward. So, a group of international researchers found what they're calling compelling evidence of possible Noah's Ark remains in Turkey. Turkey, the country, not Turkey, the animal, of which there were presumably two on the boat. The vaguely boat-shaped geological site near one of the two Mount Ararats in eastern Turkey is actually one of many arky-looking geological formations in the area, all of which have been thoroughly studied, since the Bible says the ark landed on the mountains of Ararat. So what makes this time different? Well, using ground-penetrating radar, the Noah's Ark Scans group of international researchers have found something. And according to them, soil samples at the site show higher levels of organic matter, which suggests the presence of decayed wood or other organic materials. That's not exactly a smoking gun. The group says more tests will be done. But I don't know why researchers are putting so much time and effort into trying to prove this biblical story is true, when they could just ask half of Congress, since they're old enough that they were around when it happened. Or they could just read the God Bless the USA Bible, the only Bible endorsed by 45th and 47th President Donald Trump. Less as a moral guide and more as a high school yearbook. Speaking of things endorsed by Donald Trump, his crypto coin. CNN's Jake Tapper asked Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who looks like if Stephen Colbert were left in a hot car too long, why he investigated the seemingly shady business deals of former President Biden's family, but doesn't seem concerned about any of the current president's business ventures. Johnson said it's because Trump's business dealings are out in the open.
The difference, of course, is that President Trump does everything out in the open. He's not trying to hide anything. There's no shell companies or fake LLCs or fake family businesses. He's putting it out there so everybody can evaluate for themselves.
Well, that's certainly one take. That'd be like saying the worst thing about Ed Gein making lampshades out of human skin was the secrecy. One of Trump's business ventures that many are upset about is his memecoin, which some have called a mockery. Yeah, how dare he mock the sacred, hallowed name of meme coins? What would Success Kid think? Besides, yes! One reason people are upset over the Trump coin is because of the possibility that Trump used the office of the presidency to make his family rich. With one report showing Trump's family's crypto holdings made them $2.9 billion over the last 6 months. Partially due to the Trump and First Lady Melania meme coins. I haven't seen a president this adamant about taking something to the moon since Nixon. Something that may have helped drive his crypto is that Trump ran a contest where he invited the top 220 holders of his Trump coin to a gala dinner, with the top 25 holders promised a private tour of the White House and potential access to the president himself. The dinner took place last week. And of course, the burning question on every analyst and political commentator's mind concerning this promotion that seemingly allowed people to buy an audience with the most powerful man on the planet, how was the food? According to 25-year-old social media influencer Nicholas Pinto, the food was trash, with guests served what he described as a Walmart steak. Oof, so much for launching a comeback of Trump steaks. Maybe Trump should have had his pal Hulk Hogan come over and whip up some bowls of Pasta Mania! Yes, this was an actual product, because we've been living in the dumbest possible timeline. No, the real question everyone wanted answered was who attended. Guests included social media influencers, wealthy foreign crypto investors, and even former NBA star Lamar Odom. It was like the Met Gala, but instead of overpriced, tasteless outfits, they had overpriced, tasteless steaks. Some feared that this promotion looked like it could lead to a quid pro quo situation, and even an opportunity for foreign influence. Whether there was any actual quid pro quo or foreign influence or not, like with the Biden family's shady business dealings, this isn't a good look. Although it's not as bad a look as those Hunter Biden photos I reviewed a few years ago. The whole reason I grew the mustache was to keep my upper lip from quivering every time I closed my eyes. And what did Speaker Johnson have to say about this dinner? After all, if the Bidens did something like this, surely Republicans would be up in arms about it.
But on this matter with the crypto, shouldn't we at least just know who was at the dinner? Wouldn't you want to know that list of people?
I guess. I mean, again, I don't know anything about that dinner.
Okay.
I do know that President Trump is the most transparent president and the most transparent administration probably in history.
So it's not what was done, it's who did it. And we can all rest easy because. Now, to be fair, Trump might not be trying to get people interested in crypto to enrich himself or his family. The whole situation could ultimately be good for the entire crypto industry. Trump media announced plans to raise up to $3 billion to invest in cryptocurrencies in the hopes of making the U.S. a global crypto hub. While Trump divested himself from Trump media, his son, Donald Trump Jr., is a director of the company. So there's a chance this could make Trump's family even more money. But hey, if you're worried that this could be a conflict of interest, then you're obviously not Mike Johnson. And after the break, the military's recruitment crisis is over. Or is it? Welcome back. The U.S. military has spent $6 billion over the past 3 years to recruit and retrain troops, with the Navy spending more than any other branch. If only Trump danced to "in the Navy" instead of YMCA. For years, the military has had issues meeting its recruitment goals, causing concerns that the U.S. wouldn't be ready for another war, and causing China and Russia to look on like this. It got so bad the military was at one point even trying to recruit gamers. You know the situation's dire when you see guys like this and think, he's our only hope to defend freedom. Some even batted around the idea of reinstating the draft. So how good of an investment was that $6 billion? Director of Military Accession Policy, Katie Helland, said that the armed services branches recruited 12.5% more people in 2024, and the military met its recruit contracting goals and is cautiously optimistic it can meet its goal for 2025 as well. So that's it. Crisis averted. We don't have to worry anymore. Come at us, Russia and China. Well, not quite. According to the Georgetown Security Studies Review, while the Trump administration is excited about this news, the positive shift started before he took office and could change if the military were reshaped. Which is exactly what's happening with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth ordering reviews of U.S. military standards, including grooming that were loosened under Biden. Hair grooming, that is. Not that other kind you see all over libs of TikTok. Physical fitness standards were also loosened before Hegseth took over. A report from the Pentagon Inspector General showed that approximately 14% of 1,100 trainees exceeded the Army's body fat standards even after being given 90 days to lose weight. So it seems the military may be meeting its goals by focusing on quantity over quality. And with Hegseth potentially changing this and raising the standards for who can be admitted into the military, the recruitment crisis might just be going back to square one. And given the military has been enlisting overweight soldiers, that just might be a Rice Krispie square. Speaking of things that seemed promising but turned out to be disappointing, Congress. Minus the whole seemed promising part. Several Republican legislators, and even Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, are frustrated with Congress over them not voting to codify the DOGE spending cuts into law. Yep, even politicians are mad that politicians don't do anything. And they expressed that frustration on social media, the official platform for looking like you're doing something when you're not doing anything. There's a chance Congress is just focusing on mandatory spending matters and will vote on making the DOGE cuts permanent later on. But that's like saying, my dad went out for smokes 2 weeks ago. He must have gotten lost. I'm sure he'll be back any day now. Dad? Meanwhile, Elon Musk says he's disappointed in Trump's big, beautiful spending bill, saying it won't help America's finances and that it undermines the work DOGE has been doing. Musk is taking a step back from DOGE and politics to focus on his other business ventures. He doesn't really have a choice because, as a special government employee, he's allowed to be in this role for only 130 days a year under federal law. But he won't be disappearing from D.C. since he offered to be a confidant as long as President Trump needs him.
In terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future. And why is that?
I think I've done enough.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it. I do not currently see a reason.
Perhaps Musk sees that, despite his efforts, politics is still a flaming dumpster fire, and one that can spread to other parts of your life. Nebraska received the first federal waiver to ban soda and energy drinks from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, what used to be called food stamps. This is impressive because it involves banning products high in high fructose corn syrup in a state so synonymous with producing corn that one of their college's mascots is the Cornhusker. This would be like Idaho banning potatoes, Florida banning oranges, or California banning white guys in Ninja Turtle shirts doing improv comedy. Actually, I wouldn't be opposed to this ban. Speaking of bans, Iran and nuclear weapons. Earlier this week, President Trump said some good news could be coming in regards to Iran after talks on a new nuclear deal that both sides have called positive. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman told CNN that Iran was ready to compromise with the U.S., saying that America understood Iran's position of wanting to be able to use nuclear power and that they would be open to agreeing not to weaponize it. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds promising, but can we really trust anything Iran says? It'd be great if we could hear an opinion from an unbiased, honest third party. Unfortunately, we don't have that. So we'll just have to settle with hearing from the UN. The chief of the UN's nuclear watchdog agency said the jury's still out, but these are all good signs. And Iran seems open to allowing inspectors if a nuclear deal is reached. Of course, there's still one thing that could blow up these talks. Literally. And that'd be if Israel were to attack Iran. In a phone call, Trump cautioned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to avoid steps that would undermine the Iran nuclear talks, including bombing Iran's nuclear sites. But reports show that Israel is considering attacking Iran even if they do reach a nuclear deal with the U.S., with Netanyahu insisting that whatever happens, Israel has to make sure that Iran does not have nuclear weapons. So Trump is going to have to use every last trick from the art of the deal to somehow reach a deal with Iran while also convincing Israel not to attack. He's going to need to sell them the sizzle as well as the steak. And hopefully the steak will be more appetizing than the one at his crypto gala dinner. And before you go, be sure to check out this other episode of America Uncovered recommended by the algorithm. Why am I being so complimentary to the algorithm? For the algorithm! And if you want to support America Uncovered's nonpartisan take on news and screw YouTube, subscribe to our new website, americauncovered.tv. Once again, I'm Matt Gnezda, filling in for Chris today. Thank you for watching America Uncovered.